Hello everyone, this is Muted and Nuts, and today we'll be continuing with our beginner friendly Road to OSCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another hack the box machine, that is Poison. Poison is a Linux system, it's a FreeBSD system which is like somewhat similar to Linux and based on Unix. And the difficulty is medium. So let's just get started. So another thing is the box can be exploited in like three ways. Okay, so I actually did it in the most easiest way because I thought that was the intended part. So later on I realized there were more different parts as well. So let's just quickly go and look at it. So first thing what I do is I always run an auto recon scan. Okay, and I'll be using sudo because I want to run few commands as sorry, the UDP scan would not work otherwise. So that's why I need to run it as sudo because I'm running the system as Kali. Okay, and I'll be giving the Python 3 switch for to run the file as Python 3, and I'll be giving the directory where this auto recon file is present, and I'll be giving the IP address, target IP address, wherever sorry, in this case it is 10.10.10.84. I'll be giving the O switch for output, and I'll be giving the directory where I want the scan results to be pasted. Okay, so I already did execute the scan, so I don't want to run it again. So let's just quickly look at the scan results. So first thing I always check is full TCP and map scan. And here we can see that we have port 22 open, that is SSH, and then there is port 80 open, that is HTTP. Okay, so I see HTTP, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll do one thing. Another thing is I'll run GoBuster scan. Okay, so I'll run GoBuster, and those guys who don't know what auto recon is a basic enumeration tool. So first it will run an nmap scan. It will find out the target machine's open ports and services, and based on that it will do additional scan. Okay, so if it finds something on port 80, it will do additional scans on port 80 to give some result or something. So most of the times it is very good, very helpful. Sometimes that you have to do manual enumeration because sometimes it does not give you all the data possible. So it's like you don't always rely on auto recon, but it is a good tool to use. So I always use it. I recommend it. Okay, so then I'll be using GoBuster because the GoBuster scan actually runs inside AutoRecon itself, but for some reason the GoBuster scan does not work in AutoRecon, so I have to do it manually. So I do GoBuster U. Now I have to give the URL. Okay, so I'll be giving the URL, that is 10.10.10.84. Okay, and I'll be giving the word list. So now we require the word list. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly locate common txt because we need a word list, right? So we can just grab this the word list common txt. So if we look at the contents of this, so it's like basically multiple files and sorry, multiple directory names or something is present over here. Okay, so what this would do is it will just like probably will take one and wc as examples. So first it will go, let's go to our web page first, 84. We come over here, right? So since we have given this URL, this is nothing but your HTTP, colon slash slash forward slashes, and then this, and also one more slash. So then we'll be checking like probably it will be like directory WC, then WARN. It will ask the server, okay? GoBurst will ask the server. It'll send HTTP request. It'll be like, hey, is this one directory present? And server will reply like, hey, it's not present. Then it'll be like, hey, is this WC directory present? Well, yes, WC directory is present. So okay, so that's how it works. So we'll run a GoBuster scan using this common txt. Okay, let's just quickly copy this. I don't have to type it again. Okay, and also the common txt part. Okay, word list. Okay, I just can run the scan. I can give the output directory as well. Okay, and wherever you want to save or output file wherever. So you can write GoBuster scan, and also we can give the extension that is txt php or something like that. I don't think that was required over here, so we can just run the scan, but I don't want to run it because it takes some time. And we'll just quickly look at the scan results. So first thing, we see that there are multiple php files present. Okay, so we get that information. So now what we'll do is we'll take this php file and try and check it out on our browser. But first, when we come on the browser, it says like temporary website to test local php scripts. So it says like files to be tested are all these. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Probably you have to enter this into the script name, right? So we'll just probably, before that, we'll just check page source if any information. Nothing. I think it just says like action probably add, sorry, open another browse PHP file. So let's just see what it does once you click submit. Mention, right? Type submit, value submit. Okay. So this is what we get, and it looks like, this page is present in the target machine and it is including that. Okay, so we'll just check for this list file as well. And it says like probably there is an array of probably this multiple files. There is PHP info, also there is this pwd backup txt file. This is the one method how to exploit this box. Okay, so you get this password file over here. So for now we'll just leave this aside, because if we do it we'll probably not learn much and not see anything much. So this I'll just come at this later. Okay, so first thing, we saw this multiple files present. Okay, so now what we'll do, that means LFI is probably present over here. It looks like a list file. So let's just check out the ATC password file. Okay, where is that gonna? Password file in Linux, like the PASWD file, is a user file, like which all users are present in your system. And it looks like LFI is obviously possible over here. And if you do vpage source, we see that we have this multiple user accounts over here. We have root, tour, and we have multiple users, Hawaii, Cubs, Charix. Okay, so now we have etc password file available, right? So now one thing what I would do is, since this is running PHP, okay, I'll try and this is the second method. Okay, so how would we exploit it? And the box name as well says it, right? The poison. So probably what we'll do is, since we have LFI now, and what do we need? We need RFI, sorry, we need remote command execution, or probably we need RFI, but RFI does not work. Okay, so you guys can probably go and check it out. So you need LFI into remote command execution, because the main role is obviously not reading the files, right? Main role is getting access to the system. Okay, so always keep that focus and be like, okay, we have LFI, we need to have our remote command execution. So what we'll do is, another thing, we'll just quickly check on Google for okay, we'll check for Apache access logs free BSD. Take some time to load. Okay, we'll just go over here on this website. And it says that you can find error logs, the location where this error log is found. Since we have LFI now, local file inclusion, that means we can include any file over here. Suppose if the system, the what do you say, target machine had a file name home user, okay, and some file name secret txt, we can probably read that as well, but I am sure that that is not present, just to give example. So we can probably read this Apache log file over here, and it says that access log file is present over here. So how will we do this access log file poisoning? We'll just see. So if I do this and I just hit enter, and it says that we get the access log. Okay, so from this particular IP address we have done this particular request. Okay, multiple requests have been coming from this. See, since now we just check the access log, right? I want to check something else now. What I want to check, I'll just check etc. Okay, we'll check for groups. Okay, group. Okay, so we have this group file, right? And now we'll look at the other remote file. Okay, this one. So we'll just try to reload it, and we see that we already get multiple requests over here. For the access logs, we see over here, okay, we have this group request which we entered, right? So that means we have multiple version which we got. I think I think we finished it, yeah. So we got this file Apache access log, and obviously I think we just did a quick run on GoBuster, right? So that's what even I was wondering. So I think that was what it caught right now. Okay, so we have this particular thing done, right? So that means every now and then, whenever we are adding group or something, right? Now if we add password, okay, so now password has come over here. Let's try and reload this access log page. So that means we try to get the password, right? Okay, try to reload it again. I'm not sure why it did not work. Let's do HTTP request. Yeah, so we see now that we have this access log present, right? etc password, we got the access log over here. And it looks like we are also getting the browser name over here, which, okay, so is the HTTP header. So this thing also is going, this information is going as well. So I'll just route this through burp. I've already done it. So if you guys want to route it to burp, so just go in preference, XY, network settings, and your by default Firefox will be no proxy, right? So we have to add a manual proxy over here, 2027 8080, sorry, 8080, and we do this. Yeah. And then in burp itself, again the same thing we'll have to do. Okay, it will obviously be listening. By default this thing is present, so just make sure it is running and put the interceptor off, because we'll just look at the HTTP request, sorry, the history. Okay, so what we'll do now is we have this thing present. Okay, we have a Kali system present, and we'll be routing it to burp on 27.0.1.80.80. Okay, so we configured burp over here, right, on this port. So what the traffic will go is, obviously it will go from here and then it will go to poison, because we'll redirect it to poison. Okay, so because that's the traffic where it is actually going, but we are just intercepting the request over here. So now what we'll do is we'll just look at burp. Okay, we'll just reload that page, the log file. I don't think we need to reload the log file, but probably we'll reload this etc password file. Okay, so we'll just reload it so that we get the HTTP history. It's same like your browser history. Like you're going to any browser, you'll get the history, right? So it's same as that. Just do add to repeater, because this request will try and check it out multiple times and see how it responds. Okay, so in short, if we look at this, it says like this Mozilla 5.1 X11 Firefox 68.0. It says something like this, and it is gonna send it to our log file over here. Okay, so once I reload the log file, it says the same thing. Okay, Mozilla, this thing, and so and so. So let's just try and see that can we change the header over here, and if it reflects in the log file. Okay, in the target machine, obviously. So what we'll do is we'll just look over here, and I'll just put muted and nuts. Okay, that's it. User agent is muted and nuts. I want to send this. So I send it. I obviously get the etc password file. So now let's reload it, and it says that obviously that means this browser thing, this data did not come now because I changed it, right? I changed it over here to mutated nuts. So that means mutated nuts is present over here. Okay, so now that we can control this particular entry over here in the log file, so probably we can add some malicious script so that we get some command execution. Okay, because we have to convert LFI to remote command execution, RCE. Okay, so now this particular file is a log file, right? So what we'll do is the browser is running PHP, the pages are over here PHP. So that means if we try and add some PHP script over here, probably when we load this HTTP file, okay, since we are having a local file inclusion, we'll probably try and load this. So probably this HTTP, this PHP page would be like, hey, you know what? There is a PHP script over here, and it gets triggered, and it reads it. Okay, so let's just quickly look at it, how it will look. So we'll look at the log file over here. Okay, so log file will probably check for multiple things. Okay, let's just copy the log itself. Okay, okay. So we have multiple logs over here. Okay, I know it's a bit messy, so just ignore it. Okay, this is better, I guess. Okay, so now we have multiple logs over here. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just try and go to the last log, and over here in this log, okay, just remove this. We'll add some PHP request over here. You'll be like, hey, PHP. That's not how you write PHP. Okay, PHP. Uh, so that's not the actual syntax, but I just want to show you all how it would work. So now what will happen is when PHP will include this log file, right? So it will include this log file using this include command, and it will get this log file. It will check from top to bottom. It will be like, okay, this is like plain text, ignoring, nothing. So once it will reach over here, it will be like, hey, PHP is present over here. So that means I'm a PHP parser, right? I need to execute this PHP command over here. Okay, so I will execute this PHP command. I will not consider it as plain text, and I will execute it as PHP. So that's what we want to see if it works or not. So that's why we are entering a PHP script over here, so that once it will be like, hey, boring, 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 and it comes over like, hey, I got PHP. So I'll execute it. I'm waiting for it. Okay, so it will probably go and execute this script. So probably you have to just try and write a PHP script over there. So we'll see how that will work. So we'll add a PHP script and we'll put PHP, then we'll do echo, and we'll just echo something first and just probably enter mutated nuts echo. Okay, we'll probably enter that, and then later on we'll just end the script. That's it. Simple script just to test it, obviously. Because sometimes it happens we'll add some other system commands or something over here and it does not actually reflect and work. So we would not know if this thing actually worked or not. So we'll be bashing our head over there. And so just to make things simpler, so we'll just add this. Okay, so now it looks like this but whole entire command should come, right? The entire command should come over here in the next log. Okay, but let's see what will happen if we just send a request. We will send it, obviously. Good, and we'll reload this page again. Okay, and now if we see, we have only mutated nuts echo. That's it. So what happened here was, in the actual log file, present is this. This is the actual log file. Okay, present in the backend. Obviously, this is just the copy, but this is the content of the file. So as I mentioned earlier, that since this is a PHP file, it will include a file over here, and it will be like, hey, do I have something PHP searching, searching, searching? Oh, I get PHP over here. So now I'll just try and execute the script. So the output of this script is basically this. That's it. Mutated nuts, hello. So that's what we are getting over here. Mutated nuts, hello. Sorry, not hello, echo. So this is what we are getting over here. We are not getting the PHP, right? The other part of PHP, that is this echo and this, starting command, end command. So we do not get that. That means PHP is successful. We have PHP command execution over here. Okay, so now we'll try and make it a remote command execution. That means like system commands that can actually execute. So what we'll do is, for that we'll probably just go and we'll write PHP system. We do not require this. We'll delete it. Okay, we'll have system and we'll put this sign and dollar request. So this is not what I have created. This is actually the PHP code. If you want to run system commands, so you have to obviously have this PHP starting and closing thing, and then you'll run system commands over here, and you have to give the request parameter. So we had already seen this earlier in the video, I think B video, I guess. So we'll just look at it now as well. Okay, so we'll be giving a command name. We can give any name over here. You can give like test1 or whatever, or subscriber, or any name you can give away. It's not necessary that it has to be. So I'm just giving command name to make things easier and simpler to understand. Okay, we'll close this. We'll also close, since we close this bracket, obviously if you guys know this is basic programming, if you close this bracket, you have to even close this one. Otherwise it will, error out. Okay, and we even close this. We give a semicolon to close end the command. Like, hey, you know what? My command is done over here. Okay, so this is what we'll use. So what this would do is, in short, I'll just tell you all. Okay, I'll just show it what this command would do. But first, let's just send it and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so I did send it. I'll reload this. So it says something like cannot execute blank command or something, 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 and so on. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just remove this for now. We do not need this view page source thing. Okay. The reason why I'm just telling you all, because I need that HTTP request. Like I need that request for the log file in my burp suite. Okay. So I'll take this. Send to repeater. I don't know why I sent it over here. Okay, so I'll take it to repeater. Ignore that intruder thing, okay? Just by mistake went over there and ignored it. Okay, so now we have this particular web page, okay? So if you look at the page source, it says something like, okay, something's wrong. I don't know, not sure. Something like that, okay? It does not give us proper information. So what we'll do is, what we require now, since we had given earlier in burp suit, we had given this request command parameter, okay, which says command and where we can enter values. So if you look closely over here, this there is a file command, right? Sorry, file parameter. After this PHP, this question mark, there's a file parameter. Usually these websites have this file parameters, and then later on they'll be having another file parameter which says like database or something, and value, something like that. Okay, so now there's one parameter already present, so we'll add another parameter. We'll not put a question mark, obviously. We'll put this and command over here, and we'll put command over here. Like, why command? Because the parameter name which we have given is command. If you check over here, this is the parameter name, right? So we have given command. So we'll give command, and now we want to execute system command. So what we'll do is, first thing we'll do is we'll just type the host name over here. Okay, so if you do host name in your attack machine, target machine, you will probably get which system this belongs to. It will probably give us some input or something. Let's just see. We do host name. We do not get any error now, which we saw earlier. Let's just do page source. And in our, the command present over here, we have system host name is poison. Ignore these commands because obviously the log will keep adding up more and more logs, right? Whenever we access the web page, it will keep adding up. It will not stop. So we have to look at the one which we had actually put this PHP code, right? This malicious PHP code. Okay, so now we have system commands, we have poison. Okay, so now what we'll do is another thing we can probably just write okay, who am I? Yeah, we'll go for that. We'll do page source again. Again we see and we are as www. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll try and obviously check if there are any Netcat or something present over there. So we can, instead of going to the web browser, we can probably check it from here itself. So since we had already taken the HTTP request, right, for this over here, we'll just add another and command. Who am I? And if we check over here, I know this looks a bit messy. It was better on the browser www. So now what we need to do is we need to check if we have which netcat or which Python we have. Okay, so which NC, just URL encoded because there's a space in between, and send. And if we see the output, it says like we have user bin NC over here. Okay, so what we'll do is we check that netcat is present. Okay, because it says user bin NC. Because even if in my system, if I do which NC, sometimes you're not sure of the command, try running it in your system, if obviously for Linux commands. So we have user bin NC, so same thing is present over there. So this is checking on the target machine, right, not on our machine. So this thing is checking over there. So we have user bin NC, we did which NC. So now we'll try and add a reverse shell of user bin NC. So we'll just go. Okay, another thing I want to tell you all is that if I enter NC and also the actual command like 10.10.14.20, that is my attack machine's IP address 4444. I'll be giving leaf switch and bin sh for what command to execute after I connect. So if I enter this, I do not get a reverse shell. Okay, so this is what happens. I do not get a reverse shell. Probably get some other. We can just try it quickly, but we do not get it. If I do this, I'll not get anything. Okay, and I guess errors out as well. It says some error or something. Hmm. Probably, I don't know, for some reason, yeah, some error out or something like that happens, but it does not actually let us execute this entire thing. So this is probably useless for us. So obviously, we'll look at the other way of executing netcat, which we had seen in the previous video itself. So we'll take this entire command. Okay, we'll paste it. We'll modify the attack machine's IP. Since we have netcat present, right? This is the for netcat. We have netcat present, so we'll take this attack machine's IP address. Sorry, yeah, attack machines. So we'll put 1420 and we'll be giving 4444. Now what we'll do is we'll take the entire thing. Obviously, don't include this as well. Just include this F and URL encoded. You can just press Control and U. That's it. Okay, so we'll press that, and yeah, it looks like we have done URL encoding, and let's send it. And we got a shell over here. Okay, so if you do who am I, it says that we are in the system as www. Okay, let's LA. So we come over here, we get this PWD backup text, okay, which is very important, which we had seen earlier, right? Over there. Where is it? Okay, list files. We had seen this PWD backup text. So we come in that directory itself. So once you log in, you can take this and cat it and check what the contents are. So we'll just take a pause over there. Like we'll not go ahead with the privilege escalation. We'll try to look at the other way. Okay, so how we can do this box. So we are in the system as this. So we'll just quickly check if we can get a user flag. CD Charex, no, we cannot go inside that because permission denied. So we do not belong to either of this. So we belong in this category, which we have no permission at all. So we cannot get a user flag by this. So we need to do it some other way, I guess. So let's just pause at it. Okay, so we have done the first way of initial exploitation. Now let's just look at the second way. So if we go at the web page itself, we have this PHP info page as well. So let's just quickly look at it. Okay, so we have the PHP version and everything. There are multiple things, whichever is configured for PHP is present over here, right? Okay, another thing to note is that we were able to execute, we were not able to do remote, file inclusion is because this allow URL include was off. Okay, so that's why we could not do that. Okay, so now over here, what we are looking for is the upload functionality. So let's just put upload. Okay, file uploads. So if we see file uploads is on over here. Okay, so now what that means is, so we'll just quickly look at PHP info. We have LFI, right? So we'll just do PHP info LFI. We come across this insomnia security. And I think this is a high level exploit, which I don't know if it was intended for this box or not, because I came across it obviously watching IPSec videos. So it looks like it is bit high level, and I don't think that would come in our OSCP exam. I'm not sure, I can just say, because I don't think this was the intended way. Because for it to actually work is you have to modify multiple things, but obviously don't go by my word. I just thought that it would probably not be the actual intended way. Okay, so if we look at this, in short, this particular exploit says that when this upload functionality is on, if let's look on top, it says if file uploads is on, so that means it can go through this entire document obviously, but what it does is, so it does like it has a race condition. Okay, in short, it has a race condition. It will try and send some data first. Okay, so it will try and send some data to this poison. Okay, let's just delete this. Okay, so it will try and send some bunch of data, okay, a huge text of data like this probably, okay. It will try and send these data over there. Okay, we already have that created, okay. So it will try and send this entire big chunk of data. So now once it sends this data, like file upload is on, right? So it will send some data over there. It will create a temporary file. Okay, whenever you're processing something in any web browser or even in your system, obviously in the RAM there's some temporary memory or something saved, right? There's some variable created or some temp file created on your hard drive. For some time there's a temp file created, right? Suppose when I try and execute this script, suppose it will create a temp file. Okay, so it will start executing and processing. It'll be like, okay, I need to check all these things. Okay, I'm over here and I'm done. So once it will be done, it will be like, hey, delete this file. It was just temporary, just because I needed to process, so I downloaded the entire information and saved it into this file, and then later on, once I'm done, I will like delete it. So it does the same thing. Obviously, it's like it has some upload. If file upload is on, it will create a variable where it will process and put the entire content over there, and then later on the content will be available till the end of the execution. Okay, so now what this particular vulnerability does is, So if you have a huge chunk of data, okay, so it will take time to process, right? So if you try and count any system, now if I want to just, for example, I want to count the number of tabs over here. So I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I counted the number of tabs. So now what if there are multiple tabs over there? I'll take time, right, to actually count it. So same with your processing also. Your system will take time to process. So till the time it ends, it will try and keep that temporary file, okay? It will have that TMP file created. So now what this exploit will do is, in short, it will create a huge file like this, okay? Consider this entire command to read it and execute it. It takes like around 1 second. Just consider it that way. So now it will create entire command line, and if you see there are multiple lines, right? So consider 20 seconds it takes for the entire command to process. For the entire processing of this script, it will take 20 seconds. So what this particular function is, like it will start and after 20 seconds it will finish and it will delete this file. So now I have this file present, and what this exploit will do is it will do a race condition. It will be like, first it will check this, it will process this, it will even process this, it will even process this. So for now at 4 seconds or 5 seconds we are having a pause. Just consider time stopped and we are having a pause. I just want to show you what would happen. So it will be like temp will consist of all these files, okay? For now temp will consist of all these files, because obviously it will, we are at 5 seconds mark, right? Obviously it will not pause in real. I'm just telling you all, explaining and breaking down things. So if it will execute the entire thing, it will take time. Slowly it will add probably one another line over there or something like that, okay? So what this will do is, in that period of time, since this entire processing is taking a lot of time, okay, suppose I reached over here, there'll be another, in that particular exploit itself, there'll be another way where this particular TMP file will be called. Okay, so they will be like, hey, you know what, you are filled with half data itself, so I want to call you. Why? Because when the PHP, if you guys read over there, it says that PHP actually, processes data in chunks. So where did it go? Okay. So it says over here that since the padding, the PHP script is larger than the threshold, it will slightly increase the processing time, extra padding, obviously, and then it will be like, you can probably take multiple chunks of data, you can read it. Okay, where is it mentioned? Okay, output buffering to increase efficiency of data transfer by defaulting this enabled. Okay, so in short, it will be like PHP will, do processing of this data, and then later on it will do processing of this data, and it will do processing of this data. So this data, all this data will be present, right, somewhere. So if once the processing is done, you probably entered this script over here at the earliest phase, right? Wherever, sorry, this actually the stem file will consist of this entire thing. So it will obviously be present at the initial phase, and this temp file is still present. So it will try and call to this particular temp file, and this temp file will have a malicious PHP script over here. So once it will do that, it will obviously process it in chunks. So once this particular chunk is present over there, I think for now this temp file will actually have the content of this entire thing, and then the PHP will process it chunk by chunk. Okay, so just ignore this for now. So suppose this is our temp file, this entire file, and the PHP is processing slowly. So first it will process this, then it will process this entire thing, then it will process step by step. So once it's done processing this, it will call for this file. Okay. So probably this file processing is done. So this thing will get executed first, right? And this temp file will still be present. It will not be deleted. So till the end it will be present, and we already had a race condition where we are trying and executing this script first before this thing, this actual reading process of PHP reaches the end and this file gets deleted. Okay, I know it sounds a bit confusing, but obviously you guys can go and read this entire article. Is based on race conditions. So okay, so now we have this particular thing ready, article is present, and we have the exploit as well over here. So we can try and copy paste it, this entire exploit, or we can just go on Google. Just mention this. We have some exploit present over here. Okay, so now we can try and download this exploit, but it says like, just 1 hour, 1 year ago or something. Okay, so this was done obviously after the box was released. The thing is, this exploit actually works. You have to only modify few things over here. You have to add the payload. The payload which is present will be having a payload section. Yeah, PHP payload over here. So you have to modify this particular section. And then it's selecting the entire thing. Okay. To modify this particular section over here, the payload section. And yeah, I think till here, I guess. Yeah. So you have to modify this section, and then also you have to modify this. There is some equal to and to, I know, arrow sign. So we have to modify that. Okay, let's just download that payload first, and let's just quickly see. Exploit PHP raw. Okay. So we create a new file, exploit.py, and then we paste it. So this particular PHP payload which we had to enter, right? This user has already entered it. So first thing, obviously, you have to change this IP address. So we enter 10.10.14.20, and also the port number. That is, this is my attack machine IP address. This is the port number which I'm giving, and also you have to modify the LFI, request whichever is present. So we need to modify this thing wherever LFI is present. So we have this get and index PHP, right? But we do not need that. We have this get, right? So we need this browse PHP file is equals to. So we need that. We'll just copy it over here. Okay, we need to modify this. So this is how you have to modify things. And in the original exploit, this percent s also has person 00, sorry, person and 00. It has this null thing. Okay, so we do not require that in the new PHP. If we have this thing now, the script will not work. So this is one thing which we have to remove. And also this, that user has already removed it, but I was just showing what was present in the other script and what you have to modify. Then also other thing is this is equal to and gt. So if we look at the particular PHP file over the earlier file, and gt, okay, just after the LFI. Okay, it has an GT over here. Okay, but for some other, I think payload, all the things, it did not have an GT. So we'll leave an GT as it is, obviously, and then we'll try and execute this exploit. Okay, so let's just try and run it. First, obviously, we'll chmod it to. We have to okay, we can put 550 and exploit.py. Why 55? Because 5 is like read and execute. Okay, cd exploit. Okay, so we have that. Now we'll be giving this Python, and also let's just look what all information we have to enter over here. We'll be giving exploit.py. We have to enter the host name, port number, and threads. Okay, so we'll just enter that. We'll be giving the host name as 10.10.10.84. We'll be giving the port number as 44. Sorry, it's not 444, it's port 80 because HTTP, right? And we'll be giving threads as 100. Okay, just to be sure. And also we'll be giving NC NVLP 4444. We'll start this. Okay, so it takes some time, like spawning worker pool or something, 2000. Take some time to load, and see we got a shell over here. If I do OMI, it says www. Okay, so it says shutting down, but yeah, you can leave it as it is. So this is what how we got our exploit privilege escalation, not privilege escalation, but the initial foothold from second method. Just wanted to show you all because obviously you might have seen in NIPSEX videos, but how it is actually executed and better way, because we have to modify few scripts and all as well over there. Okay, so another thing is we have the initial foothold. Now we'll just look at that password file. Okay, so if you do lsla, okay, we actually come over here. So we do not come in that directory which was present earlier. Okay, for some reason. So we'll just do one thing. We'll go back to that particular file which we saw. You can obviously enumerate and get those things. So we'll go back to this backup txt file, copy it, And where do we have the LFI? Okay, we have it over here. Take it, paste it. So it says like this password is secure. It's encoded at least 13 times. What could go wrong really? So what we'll do is we'll just try and paste it. Okay, we can do. Okay, you paste source to get a better this copy, or probably just copy this entire thing. Otherwise, we'll have to deal with this. Yeah. Okay, so now what we'll do is if we paste, yeah, so we have this particular file. Okay, so we'll just try and echo it first, because we'll try and decode it using base 64, because that's how what we'll try first. Probably can try multiple things. So I'll do base 64D. Okay, so what I did is manually take this entire thing, okay, and enter. Oops, sorry. If I do base 64D, says invalid input. Okay, so that exactly, that was I was wondering about. So this entire lines are present. Okay, so we'll just quickly take this, copy it, create a file, password txt, paste it. Okay, and since we have this next line, right, so we have to obviously delete those next lines over here. So just, yep, just to be sure, take this entire thing, echo it out, close it, then use base 64D. Obviously you guys can try and check out multiple different ways to do it, like in a simple way, but this is what I do just to be sure I'm doing it right as well. So I paste it twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so this is what I do, and we get that base 64 output over here. You can do it one by one as well, but you can, just copy paste it 13 times and you can do it. So we have this password over here. Okay, so we'll just save this password. Okay, so we have saved this password over here, and now it says like Charix, something like that. So what we'll do is we'll just go back to our list etc file. Okay, and I think I had copy pasted that over here. So if we go over there, we have this particular user Charix, okay, over here, and the password itself says something like Charix. So we'll just obviously first guess is like you try that, Charix user on SSH. So what we'll do is we'll just close this. I don't think I require this anymore. SSH, and then later on we'll be giving the user Charix and the host, that is 10.10.10.84. We'll just press enter. It takes some time to load, so let's just wait. Okay, just paste the password, and we are logged in over here. We do who am I, we are in the system as Charix. We do LSLA, we get our user flag over here. Okay, so these all things look to be similar. There's nothing much interesting information. This is one another interesting information which is present over here. It says secret.zip file. So probably we can just go and get this file. Okay, we'll get it to our system. So now we have to transfer this file into our Linux machine. So one cool way is, like, since we already have, it's not cool, like the common way, and see, we can do 10.10 dot, oops, 14, and just go to cd, okay, root, okay, 20 on port 4444, and we'll be feeding in. So this sign means, so always, sometimes it may get confusing. We're like, hey, we are feeding this file to secret, like, the secret.zip file to this particular IP address and port number over here. So that means we are uploading this file to this IP address and port. You're sending it. So that's why we have to enter the left arrow thing. Okay, so now we'll be giving NC NVLP. We'll be listening on port 444, sorry, and also will be now since we are saving it, so we need to save it as secret.zip in our system over here. Okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll press enter. Sorry, first we need to press enter on a listener and press enter over here. It says connect to, and for some reason it does not show the status over here, and I'm pretty sure you can probably check out the status maybe, but let's just see. And okay, we do not. Okay, so okay, this is not the one we are looking for. Okay, I don't think it has been transferred yet. I'm not sure though. So let's just wait till we get that file. Okay, I think I messed it up. I have saved it into a different directory. CD workplace, CD workplace, CD loot. Okay, that was my bad. Try and execute this again. And we got a file already over here. Okay, so 166 bytes. Just close this. And we do not require this, so let's just close this and let's unzip the file. So for that you'll just require unzip and secret.zip, and it'll be like it'll ask for password. So what password you can enter? So probably enter the user flag. I don't know, I have not come across that as of now, but you can enter that maybe, or probably you can enter Charek's password. So the password for Charex was this, so let's just take that and enter. Okay, so we have extracted the secret file. Says something like secret, don't know, we cannot open it. Let's cat it. Okay, it says something in like some weird language. Okay, so we do not have the proper value over here, so let's just leave that aside for now. So what we'll do is we'll look at another thing. First thing what we do is we can run lin enum or lin ps, sorry, pas, lin ps, so we can check for multiple things over there. Okay, or what we can do is we can just do ps aux first, and we see the list of processes running in the system. Okay, so there are multiple things running as root over here, you see, and then comes a different thing which is present. Okay, this XVNC function over here. Okay, you can obviously go through all of these and see whichever things are present as root, which is running as root. There's this XVNC desktop HTTP thing running. So what is XVNC? XVNC is basically same as RDP in Windows. Okay, remote desktop protocol. It's actually based on that protocol, but it is like RDP. So that's what we can actually go based. It is based on GUI, and we can connect into the Linux system. So this is running as root over here. Okay, so if we quickly go and check XVNC port, since it is running as root, probably it will be listening somewhere in our local machine, right? So we need to just check the port number first. So it says like XVNC as the default is 5900 something. So it's 5900. So actually the port number, okay. Says something like 5800 or 5900 port. Okay, so let's just quickly look. It's around that range. So what we'll do in the system is we'll just go over here. We'll use the netstat command. We'll be using netstat, and we'll be giving the AN switch, so that it will give us the connections present in our system. Okay, so now what this will give us, this will give us the other connections. So now if we see, there are some connections, right? So this is the attack machine, sorry, the target machine's IP address as well as the port number, and this is my IP address, my system's IP address, that is attack machine, and this is the port number obviously which it is using. It will be some random port number. Okay, and also this connection, right, which we had taken it earlier for Netcat, I guess. So this is our connection probably. Okay. So now another thing is there are two localhost connections over here. Actually three. There's 25 as well. But VNC we saw, right, runs on 5800 and 5900. So that means this thing is listening over here on the local host. This IP address is nothing but local host IP address of the machine poison. Sorry, the target machine. And this is listening on the port 5901. So probably I know we cannot see anything in XVNC written over here, and I would like to have that information over here, but for some reason, since we know that these two ports are present, we can try and check out on these ports where this XVNC is actually working. So we can try for this 5901. Now what we need to do is we need to connect to XVNC. So I'll just show you all how do we connect. So if we need Vnc Viewer for that, we have Vnc Viewer present in Kali itself. So if we do Vnc Viewer, okay, it opens up this thing and we have to enter the server name or something like that. Okay, so it will like shut down. So we'll try and connect it first into this system now, but we are actually running it on our attack machine, right? So we need to run it on this, what do you say, target machine. So what we'll do is we can do port forwarding for that, and how that would happen is I'll just quickly explain it to you all. So first thing is we need to have this 127.0.0.1 and port 5901. Let's consider 5901 for now because I think the port 5801 does not work. I tested it earlier. So we have this port present, right? It is listening XVNC over here. Okay, XVNC. It is running XVNC. We have this port present over here. Now what we'll try and do is we have to run Vnc Viewer over here. Okay, Vnc Viewer on port that is on our local host, right? So that means that is around 127. Let's see. This thing is confusing for some reason. Okay, Vnc Viewer 127.0.0.1, and we have to run it on port. We can give any port actually, we can run it on any port, we can give any port number because we have to forward it. So we'll just give 5901 now to make things better and to make things understandable. So we have Vnc Viewer over here, and I'll just color code this to yellow. Okay, so now we have this thing present on our port, this thing present on us. So somehow we have to try and send it to this particular port over here. Okay, so this request we need to try and forward it, this local host port, we need to forward it. We're like, hey, I don't want to run it on my system, I want to run and connect it to this system's port over here. Okay, so for that what we'll do is we'll be using SSH, and SSH actually has that connection option, so we can do that. We can exit this, I guess. We do not require this. Okay, we'll do SSH again, which says like user charx and everything. So what we'll do is first thing we'll try and add the L switch. That means we can forward that port to this particular box. Okay, so first thing is we'll try and forward this port to this box. So what we'll do is we need only this port, right? Just we'll enter this port and we'll forward it to this box. So I'll just show you all. First step is mention this port number 5901 of attack machines. Okay, first step, that is the first step. So I'll mention 5901, and then later on I'll be mentioning this colon over here. Okay, after that I have to mention the IP address of the local host. Now why local host? Because I know it does not make sense, but I'll just quickly show you all why. But first write the IP address of the local host, that is 127.0.0.1, and then later on add the port number of the attack machine, that is this 5901. Okay, so 5901. So this is done. We have user charx over here. Now what we are doing is we are just first SSH and log in into the system, and also after you log in into the system we have our port from our attack machine. Okay, and we want that port, this port of our attack machine, okay, of our attack machine, Kali machine over here, we want it to be forwarded to your local host 5901 since we are already in the system over here in SSH. Okay, so since we have already done SSH, we already log into this. We want this particular port of our local machine to be forwarded to your port 5901. Okay, and that is in your local host IP address. So let's see how this would work. Okay, so I'll just quickly do one thing. Just take this, press enter. It will take some time and ask us for password, so we'll keep that ready. Okay. Another thing is over here, what we'll do is we'll go to the CD folder, exploit folder. Exploit, okay, so it's asking for password. We'll enter the password, press enter. Okay, so now we are over here. Now we'll try and open Vnc Viewer over here. Okay, so we'll open Vnc Viewer. I'll just probably close this. Okay, we'll open Vnc Viewer. Vnc Viewer. And it says like you have to enter the server or something. So obviously you have to enter the server name. So now we are not entering the target machine's IP address. Why? Because we have to open it over here. So once we open it over here, this port will be forwarded, okay, as mentioned earlier. So we'll take the localhost IP address itself and we'll mention, okay, let's see what happens over here. We need to obviously specify the port number as well. We put port number. So once you put the port number, it says like, okay, VNC Viewer options, host and port, and then later on you have to give probably the password file, okay, because over here, okay, for some reason, okay, we have to enter the port and we have to give colon and enter. My bad. Okay, and it asks for some password, and probably we'll try and check first thing. Obviously, I'll take this password, I'll copy it, and I'll check it, paste. It says authentication failed. And if we see over here in the page earlier, the options, there are few options, right? And it says over here a password file can be fed, standard VNC authentication. So let's just try that with the secret file which we found earlier, right? Let's just try this with the secret file which we found earlier, that is the secret file. So let's just enter secret, and it says could not read password file from secret for some reason. I'm not sure what. Let's just probably chmod it. Okay, let's go to lsla. I think, okay, there is no such file present in exploit. It's present in root folder. Okay, my bad. Root. Okay, now let's try it. And we got some, RDP thing, GUI kind of thing, and we see something like root. Okay, so that's what this box was about. I know it is tricky. I myself found this very tricky to have this VNC thing, and this thing is very unresponsive as well. It's very slow. If you do who am I, it says root. So obviously we had Python installed, right? So we can probably get some reverse shell or something later, proper shell on the terminal itself, because this thing is very laggy. LSLA, we have a root flag over here. We can obviously go and read this root file as well. Okay, so this was the entire box, and I know it was a bit long, but just wanted to show you all multiple ways to exploit this box. Okay, so if you guys like the video, give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more upcoming videos. Okay, thank you.